Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about how to make $1 million off of $3,000 roughly. So with that being said, let's actually talk about this. Let's jump into it and let's really address some concerns as well. So first and foremost, when we're talking about the price influxes for Hedera Hashgraph, or the price appreciation, we obviously have to talk about the major concerning factor, and that is the idea of the tokenomics, right? Oh, the tokenomics for Hedera Hashgraph are terrible. This is such a bad asset because of the inflation of the tokens. Listen, 50 billion tokens at $100, for an example, is still only a $5 trillion market cap. We also talk about the fact that if we go off of the overall circulating supply, it's about roughly $963 billion, almost $1 trillion market cap. Overall, that's not that crazy of a number. We do see that the volume is down a little bit, and right now to purchase, say for so 10,000 HBAR, you would need roughly about 3,000, almost $200. Now that we see that the price is fluctuating here. But it doesn't matter, right? If you are long-term in this market, if you're long-term on Hedera Hashgraph, and you have the money to throw in, $3,200, whatever the case may be, and forget about it for at least, 4 years, for an example, I think that you will really see the true value unlocked within that time period. So let's actually talk about the fact that, first off, market cap does not matter. 1-to-1, this does not mean every single dollar that's invested into Hedera Hashgraph accounts for $3 billion. No. For example, if I invested $1 billion into Hedera Hashgraph right now, this would not go up to $4 billion. The price would increase significantly, and the market cap would increase significantly as well. For example, I don't know what the percentage increase on Hedera Hashgraph would be, if I invested $1 billion in, but we are roughly at about $518 million in the 24-hour span, and we haven't really increased too much, realistically speaking, from the bottom down here at 24/7 up to the topping point of around roughly 32.3. I mean, that's a slight increase overall, but we also see that the market cap is up about 17.64% anyways. So realistically speaking, $1 billion could move the market cap, I don't know, $2 billion. I don't think that's going to move it that much, but still, the possibilities are endless in terms of how much money will actually flow into Hedera Hashgraph or how it's utilized, first off. So market cap does not really matter. I just want to give you guys that insight, right? It doesn't matter. These are not projects that we're investing in terms of, a product going live, in terms of a phone, a TV, whatever the case may be. This is a project that has the potential to actually revolutionize crypto for what it is, and also allow for carbon neutrality across multiple markets and infrastructures around the world. Not only that, right? But this is one of the only assets in this space that I do think has the power, the potential, and the overall infrastructure to grasp the market cap of Ethereum at its current levels. I also think that it has the market cap potential to hit Bitcoin's overall market cap as well, and even the market cap of $1 trillion plus long term. So how exactly do we get to that price point? Because me saying, hey, yeah, Hedera Hashgraph is worth, $1 trillion in terms of market cap, no doubt. It's a very vague, statement without the overall idea on how do we get there. Well, it's very simple. So first off, currently we have dropped a little bit. Now it would only cost you about $31.40. So realistically speaking, I understand that at current prices to get to $100, it's a very long journey. And that's why I'm saying it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in 2022, but it will most likely happen by 2025, in my opinion, in 4-year span. So we see that they're working with some of the largest leading organizations around the world. We do see that they're working with Google, IBM, Boeing, and stuff like that. That's no big deal. I've talked about that multiple times. If you look at what they're doing, though, with some of these companies, we talk about FPOS, right, or FPOS over in Australia doing trillions of transactions a year. That's incredible. POS systems are revolutionary, point of sale. That's actually a very great innovative technology, especially if it's going to transact over Hedera Hashgraph, settle those payments in 3 to 5 seconds, and also have a very low cost fee and have a massive scalability factor in as well. That's great. That's revolutionary technology. EDF, doing RECs, RECs, if you will, rectify, in terms of carbon credits and stuff like that. That's great. Carbon offsets are a big deal right now. DLA Piper is doing incredible things in art. So a lot of these companies, a lot of these GC members are building very incredible things behind closed doors with Hedera Hashgraph, and we're not even seeing the main gist of it. First off, a lot of these companies, all of these companies at some point in time had NDAs with Hedera Hashgraph until they actually launched and fully were able to release that information. So just imagine how many NDAs are actually under Hedera Hashgraph's or HBAR's overall belt right now. I'm sure there is a massive amount. Now, in regards to this, first off, they're doing incredible things in terms of the use cases and the overall idea on what they're doing. This is the breakdown of what they're doing with a lot of these businesses. We do see healthcare, media, and all this stuff. I've talked about this multiple times, so I'm not going to jump into it too much. But there's 81. I forgot how many there is, but I know there's 80 plus. I'm going to be talking about one specific one, and that is the Coupon Bureau. And we're going to be talking about that. This is a nice partnership. It's actually incredible, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just coupons. Well, we're actually going to be talking about that. But as you guys see, there's so many use cases on here, and I've actually seen a few jumping on here that I haven't seen in the past before, which is very cool to see as well. But there is a lot of things that they're doing, especially even in terms of ping identity. I think that identity is one of the biggest cases right now in terms of securing it and making sure that it's digital as well. And Hedera Hashgraph is ABFT, compliant, so I think that that is the biggest selling point as well for enterprises. Now, before we jump into the idea of the Coupon Bureau, that's going to be later on in this video. I want to talk to you guys about some other use cases. For an example, this is for enterprise uses. So I know that I've talked about ISO 222 compliance in the past on this channel, especially in regards to XRP and how we do get those DLTs through those massive price influxes. But this is actually Web3 compliant, which is fairly the same thing. In terms of the DLT, Web3 does just kind of is the same thing overall of ISO 222. But Hedera Hashgraph actually doesn't have to be ISO 222 compliant, because at the end of the day, the only individuals that actually need to be ISO 222 compliant is the ones that are transacting in the financial sector using the Hedera mainnet, if that makes sense. But right now, they are doing incredible things in terms of enterprise uses. This is why all of these enterprises are joining in, because of asset tokenization, which is huge. I've talked about I've talked about this to you guys a lot in the past. We also see track and trace, which is incredible as well. Fraud mitigation, going back to the identity crises, ERP, CRM, and EAM. This is really good for the Hedera consensus service, which we're going to be talking about here very soon. Identity and authentication, and permission blockchain. A lot of cool things to really talk about, and here's the why. Overall, the ABFT, which is the asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, that compliance is the highest grade security, and it's built for enterprise grade. A lot of people think that, well, no one's going to really be using Hedera Hashgraph. Well, I just want to say right now, there's many individuals using it right now. Now, in regards to this, there's a lot of things in even gaming, right? And we know that gaming is huge. Animoca Brands actually rejoined or just joined Hedera Hashgraph. It's a multi-billion-dollar problem that they're solving in terms of cheating in games, which we already know is a huge thing. But this is actually going to be very cool, and they're actually going to reinvent the overall idea of gaming as well, which I think is very, very interesting as well. So this could be a huge use case, especially in the future. We already know that the esports scene, gaming, NFT gaming, and all that stuff is actually growing day by day. Now, I also want to talk to you guys about healthcare, and I don't have to talk to you guys about how huge healthcare is, but they're working with some of the highest grade companies in the healthcare scene. They're actually working with a few companies out there in regards to even storing the COVID vaccine, making sure that it is 100% stored in a nice overall temperature and climate. Which I think is very interesting as well. Now, again, this goes in hand with the idea of why would we choose Hedera. Here is that information as well. Again, they already talk about why Hedera, and I don't really need to go in depth on this. I'm just kind of explaining to you guys the potential behind it. For an example, even here, finance out of friction. They're talking about by 2023, digital transaction values could reach 6.7 trillion globally. Now, in regards to that, that also goes hand in hand with the ISO 222 token service that's going to be released, or the token compliance, I mean, for a lot of these digital assets and tokenization and all that kind of stuff that's going to be moving throughout the cross-border sector, even ODL services in regards to XRP. I do think that that is a very interesting thing to talk about, because that I think is going to bolster those numbers up even more. But we also talk about $6.7 trillion is nothing to undermine, especially when we talk about that Hedera and the Hedera token service are going to really settle payments in a real-time settlement time faster than Visa, faster than MasterCard, faster than pretty much anything out there, at a fraction of less than 1 cent as well, which is incredible. And here again, FPOS is the biggest one. They are doing incredible things. They're doing massive amounts of transactions. You guys could look them up as well. I've already talked about it multiple times. And here's the major selling point, right? Stable coins, even CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and also crypto assets in general. These are all possible on the Hedera consensus service and on Hedera token services as well. I think that this is a big selling point. I think that this is going to be huge, but we also see tokenization. Tokenization is going to be huge, especially in regards to even talking about real estate, all that stuff. Tune FM is doing incredible things. They actually launched their Jam token on the Hedera token service, which we could talk about as well. Now, I do actually just want to talk to you guys a little bit roughly about tokenization, because this goes hand in hand with DLA Piper and what they're doing with NFTs in terms of their overall gallery as well. This is incredible. NFTs are very expensive, especially if you are working with, Ethereum and stuff like that. We also see rectifies here. We also see even jig stacks here. Power transition is doing incredible things in getting to the point of carbon neutrality through energy crises. I think that this is so great. We even see her building on the Hedera token service, and this is all of those ideas or the benefits on building with Hedera. If you guys want to read more, you guys can. We even see her join 500 plus teams building on Hedera. There's over 500 plus dApps that are building on Hedera right now. Tell me another asset that's doing incredible things like that, and I will pause. So, with that being said, right? Let's really talk about what they're doing in terms of transactions. So right now they have done, and let's actually refresh this, 1.628 billion transactions, right? So 1.6 billion transactions, 413,000 accounts, and we actually see over here that Jam token, we see the volume is 24.6 billion. Now this doesn't mean that the overall volume of it is, transaction wise. No, there's only, just 1.7k transactions. So there's not much coming from these right now. But we have increased transactions significantly. In 1 week alone, we've done 20.5 million. In 1 month alone, we have done a rough estimate of 97.5 million. And then in the 1 year span, this is the biggest selling point in my opinion. Almost 4 billion transactions, up about 412%. We are outscaling a lot of these assets. Now, here are some of the featured dApps. We do see AdStacks. We also see Tune FM. I wonder, so yeah, we could actually see that AdStacks did already 1 billion, or, so no, this is not it. I forgot where I could see the overall transactional volume, but we could see, I think in the year span. So here we go. So we can actually see that they're doing massive transactions. This is their balance. Actually, I can't. All right. So here's the transactions. So overall, here's a total of just 100,000 transactions. Let me go to the 100 page record list. I don't know if this is gonna. All right. So this is not updating. But overall, they already did 1 billion plus transactions, which I've actually done a video on in the past. But this is all in just the span of 2 days on AdStacks, which is pretty cool to see. And there is a lot of crypto transfers here, and there's a lot of amounts of HBAR actually being moved across this as well. As you guys see, there's like 1.8 billion HBAR as well, which is crazy to see. So they're doing incredible things in terms of transaction volume as well as the balance for HBARs as well. It's very interesting to see that. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about AdsDex. I don't want to talk too much even about TuneFM or any of that stuff. I want to talk to you guys about Coupon Bureau, right? Because we've seen what Coupon Bureau is doing, right? Here's how it works. The coupon is generated, Hedera consensus service, standard coupon ID. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but this is how we get to that $100 plus zone for HBAR, right? How do we get to $100 for HBAR? Well, it's very simple. We just have more volume flowing over the Hedera mainnet. For an example, if we actually look here, updated math, the Coupon Bureau, I did a video on this, will bring Hedera from 4 million daily transactions to 834 million daily transactions. Isn't that absolutely massive, right? So if we actually see here, transactions on Hedera, there are 227 to 356 billion coupons issued every year. This number has varied depending on where you read, but that's the full range. The 350 billion included the 15% fraud, so maybe the others subtract the fraudulent redemptions. Not sure. Let's split the difference and go with 300 billion transactions issued per year. Of those 300 billion, 1.7 billion are redeemed per year, with 8,112. There will be 3 HCS transactions per coupon as confirmed in 1520 of this video. I already did a video on that. And we do see here transaction 1 issuance 300 billion, coupon is clipped 1.7 billion, redemption 1.7 billion, total transactions 303 billion per year. Now, this would bring up the overall transactions daily on Hedera to 834 million. That is roughly about 9,652 transactions per second. Now, if we go off of what their transactional fee is on that a second, okay, that is roughly about, it's almost $1 a second, roughly, especially if we go off of, if we go to HBAR's overview here, and we actually come down to their price per transaction. So off of this math alone, just transactions alone from Coupon Bureau, that's about $1 a second, which is nothing too crazy, realistically speaking. I just want to let you guys know that. And I'm not trying to make sure that it is something crazy. But we're talking about daily transactions here of 834 million. Now that is where the prices get interesting, because that's $83,400 a day. And I understand that for a lot of people, that's not a crazy amount, because that's actually $583,800 a week, which is really interesting, because if you actually take that math, okay, say we'll just do 834 million a day times 365, which is roughly about 304 billion, like they said up here. But we'll just go off of 300 billion transactions a year. Okay, 300 billion transactions a year, just to make it very easy for us to understand, is about $30 million. Okay, which I know a lot of people think that $30 million isn't much, whatever. But right now, okay, off of the transactions alone, 300 billion compared to our 1.6 right now, that's a huge difference. But this is off one use case alone, and this is just for coupons. That's generating $30 million a year. Okay? Think about what happens when we have tokenized assets on Hedera, and we talk about massive amounts of payments flowing over it, healthcare use cases, gaming use cases, enterprise use cases, decentralized finance, and all this other stuff that's going live on Hedera Hashgraph. Think about all the transactions that will flow over HBAR, and think about what the price per HBAR will have to be at that pinpoint. That's the pinnacle of success with Hedera Hashgraph, right? Because once we get to about, I don't know, 1 trillion transactions a year, which I think is very logical. I've talked about how we get to 1 trillion transactions a day as well. You know, 1 trillion would be $100 million a year in revenue, in gross revenue as well. I think that we get to that number very easily. Okay, and in terms of the overall price appreciation for the overall market cap, right? The market cap value for HBAR is roughly about like 3 billion right now. Like I said, the market cap doesn't matter in terms of what they're doing, what's happening on the network or anything like that. The market cap is the value at which the utility case's problem solving value is. And when I say that, I mean, for example, Apple's overall market cap is 2 trillion roughly, and that is because of how many people buy an Apple phone, a Mac, whatever the case may be. The product overall being very good, the market cap gets, adjusted for that. We even seen, Tesla stock in the past drop because of the demonstration of a product or whatever was not that great. Hedera Hashgraph's market cap will increase or decrease in terms of what their overall use cases look like. And from what I've seen, when we talk about unlimited transactions per second coming to the network in Q4, the use cases seem very, very good. So when we talk about, a $30 billion market cap, all right, say for so, we range to just 10x the market cap from our current prices, and we get to, I don't know, $2, $3. Around $3, we would be at about almost $30 billion in terms of a market cap. In fact, we would have to get to roughly about $3 and almost 15 cents to get to that $30 billion market cap, which I think is very easily achieved. Think about it like this, okay? I've said $10 is very achievable this bull run. And at that point, it's 96.3 billion in terms of the market cap. Now, the biggest factor in terms of HBAR's price getting to $100 is just the overall transactional volume, all right, which I think we won't have a problem at all since we could do 10,000 plus transactions per second right now, and at some point in time, unlimited transactions per second. But think about the fact that we are the enterprise choice right now. We are. We are the highest grade security. We are the fastest right now in terms of that ABFT compliance factor as well. We are the only one that has the ABFT compliance factor. Now, in regards to that, I think that we could easily achieve the market cap value of $1 trillion, which would be $100 currently, right now. It would be, like I said, $963 billion. But what would the price of HBAR be in 2025? If all of this stuff is happening behind closed doors, nobody's really seeing it. And there's still a ton of updates to come. We also see proxy staking is going to be happening soon, where a lot of the value of HBAR is actually going to be locked away and stored. They're already doing 1 billion transactions a year now. I mean, think about how crazy HBAR is going to look in 4 years. So with that being said, yeah, I do think $100 is very achievable by 2025. I think that you could turn $3,100, $3,200, whatever the case may be, into $1 million. And I think that this is a life-changing asset, especially since we are in the ground floor levels of the overall innovation and the development of this asset. So with that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. That's been Nick. And guys, peace out.